this video, I'm going to give you a quick overview on how you can easily visualize an entire flight's worth of data using the Post-Test Explorer client application. Now, if you've never logged into the IADS client before, this is the screen that you will see after you've connected to your server. We're assuming here that you've added some data to your server already. What you will see here is that you'll get an interface that allows you to browse through the most recent 5 flights that were found on your server. If you hover over each one of these icons represents one flight, and you can see some of the metadata associated with that flight. You can see things like the aircraft name, flight tested tail numbers, as well as the date. If you're interested in a flight that is older than the last 5, this drop down here will let you browse through your entire archive. But for this demo, I'm just going to pick the latest flight in my list right here. And so what happens when you select a flight is you are taken to the Explore page of the client application. And this page aims to give you an overview of this flight and allows you to easily visualize parameters across the entire flight. Now at the top, there's some metadata about the flight number, start and stop time, date, as well as the aircraft name, test and tail number. Then as you scroll down, you can see there are time history plots with associated parameter lists. This is how you visualize the data for the flight. So for example, I am going to come over to the first plot here, and I'm going to plot my angle of attack parameter. So I click that parameter, it's going to plot that data for the entire flight in the appropriate time history plot. I could scroll down even further, and I can select another parameter, such as my angle of side slip. Now I'm seeing what the angle of side slip is doing for the entire flight. I can come down some more, and then maybe I want to look at some strain gauge data, so I can start typing in, if I know the name of the parameter here, to filter it out. There are my strains, left and right. I'll plot those. And you can repeat that process for as many parameters as you need. You can put as many parameters on each plot as you need, if you need to compare and contrast different data on the same plot. But right now, I have a very simple, high-level overview of what's going on in the data for this flight. And now the purpose of this page is really to allow you to look at this data, to eyeball it, and see if anything jumps out at you visually. So this is just demonstration data. There's not a whole lot interesting happening here, but let's pretend that I see something interesting happening in this area. I can rope zoom it, rope select and then zoom in. And so the system has zoomed into the flight at that time range that I selected, and it's locked all of the time ranges across all of the plots. So as I zoom in and out of one plot, all of the other plots zoom in to the same time range. So now, let's say I found what I'm interested in looking at, what I'm interested in marking, this area right here. You can select it, select Mark Time Range. And now what that's done is that marks the time range internally in the system's database, so that when you get to the analysis portion of the application, it'll remember that you're interested in doing some analysis on this time range for this flight. And you can repeat this process as many times as you need to. You can zoom back out, zoom in to this area over here, select another range of data, mark it. You can go back and forth on the same flight, and you can select other flights. If you need to move on to a different flight, you can select those up here from the drop down. So now I want to go to a different flight. I'm on 7206 right now. I want to go to 7201. And this is what the data looks like for flight 7201. I can plot different parameters or look at the same ones. And if I see something interesting that I want to zoom in on here, I can click and drag, zoom in, and mark another time range, just like I did before. So that's pretty much how you visualize data across an entire flight using the client application.